Good evening. So this video we are going to talk about Freud's psychoanalytic theory. So according to Sigmund Freud, the ego is not a master in its own house. So Freud's theory exists more than a century. It is most well known by psychologists and even educators, us teachers. Okay, so the theory is about unconscious and sexual development. And according to this theory, as a person grows, the personality is formed. Okay, so we have here the erogenous zone. So this is a specific area that becomes the focus of pleasure needs. Okay, this includes the mouth, the anus, and the genitals. Fixation is a result from a failure to satisfy the needs of a particular psychosexual stage. So later on, we will be talking about stages. Okay, so the fixation psychology definition relates to having attachment to people or things that persist from childhood to adulthood. So Freud believed that persistent fixation were due to unresolved issues in the previous psychological stages of personality development. In other words, we can become obsessed and fixated on things because we get stuck somewhere in our growth and development. So here is the stages of psychosexual development. First is the oral stage. As the word itself, it focuses on the mouth. Okay, that is from birth to 18 months. The second is the anal stage, from 18 months to 3 years. We also have the phallic stage, 3 to 6 years. The fourth stage is the latency, that is 6 to puberty, and the fifth stage is the genital stage or the puberty onwards. Okay, so first let's talk about oral stage from birth the baby up to 18 months. Okay, so the focus or the area of focus here is the mouth. Okay, so the oral pleasure can be sucking, as you can see here in the picture. The baby sucks a pen. Okay, so too much or too little can lead to an oral fixation. So there has to be a balance. Okay, so this is oral receptive versus oral aggressive. Let's talk about receptive. So there is a tendency to smoke, okay, drink alcohol and overeat. When we say aggressive, uh, biting the nails, use curse words, or even gossip. Okay, so the result is too dependent, easily fooled, and lack of leadership traits. Next is the anal stage, that is 18 months to 3 years old. So the child here receives satisfaction by having and retaining bowel movement. So erogenous zone is the anus. So fixation results in retentive or explosive personality. So anal retentive, highly controlled, compulsively neat. Whereas in the anal explosive, there is a tendency to become messy, disorderly, rebellious, and destructive. So satisfaction is in eliminating and retaining feces. Okay, so toilet training of a child. So the result here is anal retentive. We have here obsession with cleanliness. Masyadong into cleanliness, perfection, and control. And the result of anal expulsive is messy and disorganized. Next is the stage from 3 years old to 6 years old, and this is called phallic. Okay, so preschool age. The the erogenous area here, or the erogenous zone here, is the genitals. So interest about boys and girls make or do. Okay, they observe, no, how the girls doing and how the boys are doing. Okay, so stages of differentiating. Okay, so boys feel jealous to their father, Oedipus complex, and girls felt jealous to their mother, Electra complex. So Oedipus complex, here the boys feels uh, guilt and fear of punishment over sexual desire for mother and feeling of hostility toward father. And in Electra complex, girls' feelings of guilt and fear of punishment over the sexual desire for their father and hostility toward mother. So next is the latency stage. This is from 6 years old to puberty. So there is now a sexual urges remained expressed. So the focus here is the acquisition of physical and academic skills. Sexual feelings remain unconscious pa in this stage. Boys relate boys. Girls relate girls, prefer playmates of own gender. So ito na, nagugrupo yung mga girls, then they are playmates, and then boys, they group themselves and they are the ones who played together. So in genital stage, this is from puberty onwards, urges are once again awakened. Okay, so towards the opposite sex peers and pleasure centered on the genitals. So Freud's personality components. So we have here the id, ego, and superego. See, so the id is, for example, I need to eat right this second. Okay, and ego, you can't do chat because you're in the middle of an important meeting. The super ego said, eating during an important meeting is rude and inappropriate. Okay. So in Freud's personality components, the id develops in infant. Okay. According to Freud, the id is the source of all psychic energy, making it the primary component of personality. So the id is the only component of personality that is present from birth. So this aspect of personality is entirely unconscious and includes instinctive and primitive behavior. So a child is born with id, plays vital role in one's personality, essential needs are met, operates on the pleasure principles, satisfaction of its needs. Example, baby is hungry. It wants food or milk. So the baby will cry. Okay? So that he or she will be fed. Okay. Uncomfortable, in pain, too hot, too cold. He gets attention. So Freud's personality components, first, the ego, toddler and preschooler. So according to Freud, the ego develops from the id and ensures that the impulses of the id can be expressed in a manner acceptable in the real world. So the ego functions in the conscious, preconscious, and unconscious mind. The ego is the personality component responsible for dealing with reality. So the superego near the end of preschool years, according to Freud, the superego begins to emerge at around age 5. The superego holds the internalized moral standards and ideals that we acquire from our parents and society, our sense of right and wrong. The superego provides guidelines for making judgment. So well-adjusted person has strong ego, helps satisfy the needs of id without going against the superego. Okay, so this is right and wrong. Okay, so if the id exerts too much power over ego, the person becomes too impulsive and pleasure seeking. One may find the superego so strong that the ego is overpowered. Okay, so becomes so harsh and judgmental to himself and others' actions. So we have here the topographical model of Freud's three levels of mind. First is the unconscious, not available at a conscious level. Next is the conscious, and the third is the pre-conscious. The unconscious, not available at the conscious level, is the vast sum of operations of the mind that take place below the level of conscious awareness. So the conscious mind contains all the thoughts, feelings, cognitions, and memories we acknowledge, while the unconscious consists of deeper mental processes not readily available to the conscious mind. So next is the conscious. The conscious mind contains all of the thoughts, memories, feelings, and wishes of which we are aware at a given moment. This is the aspect of our mental processing that we can think and talk about rationally. Also includes our memory, which is not always part of consciousness, but can be retrieved easily and brought into awareness. The preconscious contents of the mind you are not currently aware of. Hindi mo na ngayon, hindi mo muna alam as of today. Okay? Thoughts, memories, knowledge, wishes, feelings. Available for easy access when needed. Okay, so that would be all. Thank you so much for listening.